Hello, Hoop Monitor users. This video is going to go over how you can test your dynamic remarketing tags to make sure they are firing correctly from dealers' websites. We'll be checking both dynamic remarketing pixels, which is the term Facebook uses, and the dynamic remarketing scripts, which is the term that AdWords uses. The reason that we're going over this and encouraging users to learn how to test these tag installations is because they often break over time. We install these for you. We test them right after installation to make sure they are firing properly, but a month later there could have been changes made to the dealer's website or other vendors installing scripts that conflict with the scripts that we installed. So there are a number of reasons these could break in the future, and therefore we're recommending that all users do go back and on some sort of regular basis recheck your dynamic remarketing tags to make sure that they are firing and continuing to fire properly. If you do see a significant or dramatic drop in impression volume from your dynamic display campaigns, that would be a good hint that there might be a problem with the tag installations. And so in that case, that should probably be the first thing you go check, which in this video we're going to show you how to do. And then if you do find any broken tags, you simply need to email support and we will repair those for you at no additional cost. Okay, so let's get started with testing Facebook pixels, and we're going to do that with the Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome plugin. So the very first step, if you don't already have it installed on your browser, go to the Chrome Web Store, search for Facebook Pixel Helper, download, install that on your browser, and then you'll see a little icon added to your button bar that looks like this. And that is what we're going to be using to review the pixels and how they're firing on the page. Do keep in mind that when we make the installations, we install them so they are going to fire on VDPs only. So you need to be on a VDP to test these. We are not firing them from search results pages or home pages or anything else. So if you're checking on those pages, you will not see them firing properly. Make sure you're on a VDP. Okay, so here's an example of a correctly installed dynamic Facebook pixel. And what we're going to be looking for, what you're going to be looking for in here, is the view content event. You should always see the view content event. If you don't, that would be a problem in itself. That would mean that it is definitely not installed and there is a problem. You most likely will see at least the view content event here. There might be problems within it or possibly not, like this one, which is perfect. You're going to see that there are custom parameters sent. There's going to be two variables that are passed here. Content type should be vehicle, and content IDs will be the VIN of the vehicle for the VDP that you are on while testing. And furthermore, you're going to see down here at the bottom, matched vehicles. So not only was it correctly passing the VIN for that vehicle, but it did find that there was a matching record with that same VIN in the feed within your Facebook product catalog. So everything is all good here, and you can know that it is firing properly. No problems with the pixel installation on this. You might notice, especially if you've been using the Hoop Monitor system for quite a while, you might notice content type might not be vehicle, it might be product, like this. And that's because prior to switching over to the automotive catalog type, which is relatively new with Facebook, we were using the older retail catalog type, and for all installations that were done for the retail catalog type, we used product. So essentially any installation that we made before May 2018 will most likely have product in here, which is totally fine as long as you are also using the retail catalog type within Facebook. If you see vehicle, it should be the automotive catalog type. So just make sure you got that match and everything is fine. Do note that if you're working with dealers that are RV, ATV, or boat dealerships, you should still continue to use the older retail catalog type and see product in here because so many of the automotive catalog type fields really aren't relevant for RVs, ATVs, and boats. Okay, so some common errors you're going to see within your Facebook Pixel Helper that can be addressed easily. The first one is that your pixel is not paired with a catalog. So in this case, I checked a page and I did see the view content event. See multiple here, which I'll explain also. But the view content is in there. It is passing content type vehicle. It is passing content ID of the VIN for the VDP I'm on, but it's also showing a warning saying this pixel is not paired with any product catalog. And so that simply means that, yeah, you're firing that properly, but back here in your catalogs, that you have not set up the event, and you're going to be able to see this in a number of places here within your catalog. But if you go to the events tab within your catalog, you should see that there is an associated pixel. If not, you need to associate one, and that pixel should match the pixel ID that we see right here. And if there's not that match, that's why you're getting this error. Okay, you can also see this over here in settings, event sources right here will show you the pixel that you've associated with, and if not, that's where you could also associate it. And then also in diagnostics, you might see these errors. Most of these are normal. Missing view content, search, add to wish list, lead events in this fake dealer's pixel. The search, add to wish list, and lead, you'll always see that error because we never pass that. They're not relevant. But the view content, we should. So that's another place you might see a problem. But yeah, this error is simply that you likely have either A, not set up your product catalog yet, or B, you've set it up, but you haven't associated this pixel ID right here with the catalog. So very easy to fix on your side. Another common error that you're going to see in here, again, in this situation, view content is being passed, content type is being passed, content IDs are being passed. If you click the show link here, sometimes you'll see this, it will then display the ID that's being passed beneath there. So that is fine. But this is saying everything is being passed properly, but Facebook Pixel can't find the provided IDs in any of the associated vehicle catalogs. So it's saying, yeah, there is a catalog in, or over here in Facebook that has the associated pixel. There's a page I want to get to. But in the data sources within that feed, it's not finding a record that matches, this ID that's being passed right here, or the same thing that you see with the show. Now, this one actually is not our installation. We always pass the VIN. This is clearly something that was installed by another vendor because they're passing some long hash code here. You would see VIN in ours. And the reason this is likely happening, if you are seeing this warning, is either one, you simply haven't set up your feed in Facebook yet. So you haven't come in, set this up here, settings, and put the feed link in here and set up a schedule. So that would be probably the most common reason, in which case just go set it up and you'll fix the problem. But there could also be this warning in the case where you have set up your feed, but you just happen to be on a VDP for a vehicle record that was suppressed from the feed or filtered out from the feed. And there's a number of reasons why we are filtering out records from the feed. If the vehicle is call for price, doesn't have a price value, that is a required field, so it will be filtered from the feed, and you would get this unmatched vehicles warning within Facebook Pixel Helper. But if it's a placeholder image and we're filtering those out properly, that would be another reason. If you requested for stock images to be filtered out, that would be another reason. If you're using a custom filtered feed, maybe with only new vehicles, only used vehicles, that's another reason. So you also need to make sure that you are testing on a page for what I'm going to call an eligible vehicle record that should be in the feed. Okay, so that covers Facebook. Let's move on to dynamic AdWords scripts, and these are going to be tested using the Google Tag Assistant Chrome plugin. So first step with that is, if you don't already have it installed in your browser, go to the Google Chrome Web Store and search for and download and install the Google Tag Assistant. Once you do, you're going to see this little price tag looking icon in your button bar, and that is how we're going to be able to review those installations. Again, make sure you're on a vehicle detail page. We are only firing the appropriate dynamic remarketing parameters from the vehicle detail pages, so make sure you're there. And there's one additional step with the Tag Assistant. It's not always on like the Facebook Pixel Helper. You have to enable it before it works. So back over here, let me just get to at this dealership. I'm on a VDP, and if I click the drop down for the Google Tag Assistant, it's not on yet, so I need to click enable, and then just come refresh your page. And then we do see, I was in here earlier, so you would see results that look like this, a list of all the tags that it found on this page, including other Google tags, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and the remarketing tags. And the remarketing tags are almost always at the bottom of the list. It usually shows Analytics first, Tag Manager second, remarketing tag last, but there's a few other random ones that you'll sometimes see on there. So when you do see that list, you're going to want to find the remarketing tag specifically with the pixel ID that you requested to have installed. So just like Facebook, there's going to be a lot of different scripts or tags installed. There might have been previous vendors that had some installed that haven't been removed, or other current vendors that have been installed for other purposes. So make sure you find the one for the conversion ID that you have provided to us for installation. And then once you do find that, just go ahead and click on that record, and you will get to this secondary page that is going to show your conversion ID again, and you should see this one request in green down at the bottom. It might be more than one, it could be two, it could be three, but you should see X number requests down here, and when you click on that, it will get you to the page of information that we really want to see, and this is showing the variables and the values for those variables that we are passing. And there are always three variables that have values passed for. They all start with the dynax underscore prefix, and then there's item ID 2, and page type. Item ID, we are always passing make model. Item ID 2, we're always passing VIN. Page type will always be offer detail because that corresponds with the vehicle detail page, and again, that's the only place we fire these from. So as long as you do see that the correct for the vehicle detail page you're on, make model is being passed correctly in item ID 2, or item ID, and then VIN in item ID 2, and you see offer detail there, everything is fine and working correctly. If you don't see that, but you possibly saw instead of one request here, you saw two requests or three requests, you might not see it on this first page display. Just use these little right left arrows to thumb through. It might be in the second or third page if multiple installations for Google Dynamic Remarketing have been made, possibly by other vendors or previous vendors. Okay, there's also a number of warnings within AdWords that you might want to take notice of. So when you go in the AdWords account, you want to go down to your shared library, and then within that, you want to go to audiences, and then when you get to audiences, you're going to see this little box right up here in the upper right-hand corner with tag details. It might show you some warnings right from there, in which you can click on tag details to see more information about that. And the things that you should see that are good, like we see with the green check boxes here, that custom parameters are active. So you should see that it is receiving values passed for the item ID 2, and page type parameters are getting passed through, whether they're correct or incorrect, they are receiving some of those. If you requested your dynamic remarketing script to be installed yesterday, then you might not see these, but that probably means we just haven't completed the setup. Definitely make sure you wait till you get that response back from support saying, yes, we have completed your tag setup, and now you can go test it with the Google Tag Assistant or Facebook Pixel Helper. But once you have received that, and assuming enough time's gone by for at least one site visitor to hit a VDP, you should see that these are active. And then you're going to see potentially some warnings. So one of the warnings that's very common is that not all of the IDs being passed match records in your feed. And this is going to be common, can happen for a number of reasons. In this case, this one, only 200 of the 258 page visits have passed an ID. Probably that is completely normal. It's not a large number. It could be just, there are, again, some suppressed records for call for price or placeholder or stock images if you ask those to be filtered out, or you're not using a feed with all records. Instead, you're using a filtered feed for just new, just used. So lots of reasons why that number could show that you don't have perfect matching, 258 of 258. If it's a large number like this, most of them are matching, probably not a problem. If you're seeing a really small number here, only 5 of the 258 pages have a matching ID, that's a problem. And then you should probably contact us to help troubleshoot that. And then also a little further down from that, we can see that it's going to show you a more detailed report of the top firing IDs that are getting passed, and it's going to show you whether they did find those in the feed or not. And if they didn't, it's going to show you some of those with the red exclamation point error warnings here. Again, this is common. If you have a vehicle record that has been on the website and in inventory for the last few weeks, it's built up some VDP views. We have been passing the parameters for that vehicle, but if it's sold yesterday, it's not going to be in the business data feed today. So today it would show if this Chevrolet Suburban had sold yesterday, it's going to show no, that is not in the feed, even though we have gotten some views from that VDP. So again, very normal, probably not an issue unless you see the vast majority of these are not matching. Okay, so that covers the AdWords side as well. Quick summary of things you need to keep in mind. And one is that the Hoot support team, when we install these, we test for the proper functioning of the pixels and the scripts after we do the installation, but we don't check any further after that. Additional checks are going to have to be performed by you. And then keep in mind that tags may break over the time as changes are made to the website or other vendors are installing conflicting scripts or tags. So for that reason, campaign managers should get in the habit of rechecking these on a regular basis. I suggest probably once a month is sufficient, but again, if you do see any dramatic drop in impression volume from your dynamic display campaigns, that would be an indication to go check those immediately. And that covers everything. If you have any other questions or need additional help, please email the Hoot support team. Thank you.